Okay.
Hey everyone, Mick Liubinskas here, and I am chatting to Tom Clune today. Tom and I are heading off to Antarctica next week.
Yes. Yeah.
How you going, Tom? You ready to go?
Very well. It's beginning to pick up the pace in terms of everybody organizing for Antarctica. People are beginning to be very excited. So,
Yep. And just to be clear, that's a fake backdrop. I'm not in Antarctica yet. I just to sort of look behind the curtain. I am at home in my study, so that's less appealing. I might go to my Antarctica one here. We've called our group 60 South, and Tom is coming along, and we were just having a chat. Tom was asking me about Kilimanjaro, which I climbed in 2004. And it was an amazing experience with nature. And there was a few things about it to share with you, Tom, because just to, again, part of my objectives, Kilimanjaro, you climb for 5 days really slowly, like you're basically walking 8 hours a day for 5 days, and then on the last day you leave at midnight and you go to the summit for 10 minutes and then you climb back down. So there's a similarity with Antarctica. Like for me, this has been 12 months of preparation. We need to fly to Santiago, then Buenos Aires, then Ushuaia, and then get on a boat across the Drake Passage, and then we get to Antarctica. So we've got this really big journey to get there, and then we've got this big experience with nature. And I'm looking forward to both of those components because you've got to really there's an investment in it, and there's a quietness to it, and then there's a moment. So that's a bit about I loved that feeling with Kilimanjaro, and I'm hoping to recapture it.
mm. And I have the same feeling for Drake's Passage. From what I've heard about it, it's 30-foot waves for 2 days straight, or it could be Drake's Lake. Now I'm almost hoping for Drake's Passage. That sort of feeling of adventure.
The
Uh,
Drake Shake, yeah, I went
yeah, the Drake
today and
Shake.
I got some sort of over-the-counter travel medication. So this is the
Right.
Travel Calm, and this is for nausea. Uh,
Yeah, I actually been to the doctor about that yesterday, asking about those patches, which they hadn't heard of. Nobody sort of, at least it's quite hard to get it in Australia. And it seems like people in the group chat
yeah.
has anybody managed to get them in the group chat?
I
I
don't
don't
think
think.
anyone has so
Yeah,
far. I think you need a prescription from and it's only available prescription in the US or Argentina.
yeah.
You can. I'm wondering whether we might be able to find some or secure some
Mm,
somehow
mm.
in Argentina. Maybe it's a bit loose and light, but
Yeah, I was going to say while we're there now, that sort of like speaks to what sort of endurance you have to go through Drake's Shake. Some people even double up on these sea
yeah.
sickness sort of tablets, a patch as well as an oral. It's supposed to be insane.
Yeah. Well, I think
Mm.
there's some people got injections.
Mm.
It's pretty full on.
Yeah. Now, all
Yeah,
that being said, this is because we're talking about it like this because we're so excited, not because we're afraid.
yeah. Well, I think it's there's some people that's been. I'll just show some. I'll quickly flick to some. Here's a quick video showing the Drake's Passage. So it can be pretty full on. But look, these boats are built to go across the Drake's Passage, and as it shows here, it's
Mm.
because there's a gap between South America and Antarctica, which basically has no land blocking. So that's why the water really flows through.
Okay.
Um, so it is. Look, I'm not worried at all about having being in danger. Like obviously, whenever you travel, there's danger, and whenever you go on a boat, there's danger. But the boats are built for it.
Mm.
There's a pretty high chance we're going to get bad waves, and there's a high chance we'll feel a bit sick. I went from the northern tip of the South Island of New Zealand to Wellington, and we had really big waves, and a lot of people were sick, and I was completely fine. So
Mm.
I feel quietly confident, but
Mm.
we won't know till we go, and then yeah, you get through this big ordeal, and then we end up in Antarctica. So.
Yes, yeah, yeah, for 10 days or 8 or so days. Yeah.
Well, the boat trip is about 10, 11 days.
Yeah.
It's 2 or 3 days to get there and 2 or 3 days back. So you get about 4 days there. So it's a massive effort for 4 days. But
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I've been. This will be my seventh continent.
Mm,
Going to Antarctica. After I go to South America, which I haven't also been to,
mm,
and 50 countries. But this is you're a lot younger than me. Like,
mm.
what's your of all the places in the world to go? Like, what made you want to go to Antarctica?
Well, I've never sort of traveled before. I've been to Fiji, and that was for 1 week for a family sort of trip, sort of
Yeah,
celebrating a birthday. But this was of my own volition. This was, hey, my mom came up to me and said, "Hey, Tom, like it's your 21st. You have an opportunity to travel somewhere as your birthday present." And I said almost jokingly, "You know what? How about Antarctica?" Like I was watching videos of orcas, and I absolutely love nature. Absolutely love orcas and life,
yeah,
especially sea, like marine life, and all those things. I just said passively, "Hey, how about Antarctica?" And my mum immediately went, "Hey, you know what? I actually know people that are planning on going to a trip. How about you actually go?" And the whole build up to myself actually going there, what it's a week from now, I've slowly
yeah,
been coming to terms with the fact that I will be going to a place that barely anybody has ever been to.
yeah,
And I feel like that's almost why I chose it because it just seems a special place to
yeah,
go, like for the first time, travel on your own volition.
yeah.
Um,
Cool.
it's yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, especially landing there and being able to walk and sort of maybe see animals that don't really interact with humans or the stars. There won't be any light pollution. I'll have a
Yeah.
book with me, the Endurance, as well, that I'll be reading about people who traveled there. I think 100 years ago now. So
Cool. Yeah,
yeah.
I've got a couple of good books too because it's well, the other big thing, and it'll be a challenge for everyone. It's
Mm.
well, we'll have devices, but there'll be basically no internet access for
Yeah, yeah.
the 10 days. So, are you ready for that digital detox?
Yes, 100%. And also, I wonder if there'll be coffee. Do you think there'll be coffee there?
There better be coffee. Like I can do the detox of digital, but I can't do the detox of coffee. So.
I've been slowly getting off of coffee just before my trip, just in case.
Okay.
Just
No,
in
look, I'm pretty sure they'll have hot coffee there every day. Yeah, look, it's going to be amazing. I've actually never done a cruise. I've
Mm,
done sort of like pretty short cruises from Stockholm to Tallinn and then from Italy to Croatia once. Short ones. I was on a boat for a bit in Croatia as well, but I've never done a multi-day cruise. So
mm.
and you and I are twin sharing, so that's going to
Yes,
be
yeah, yeah.
we're going to get to know each other by the end of it, Tom. So
Mm. We'll get to know everybody. I was going to mention that, like, also it's about the people that we're traveling with, right? These are people that you've
yeah.
worked with or that you know personally on a level where you can say that you have similar values, and that's why you've chosen to sort of bring them along with you on this trip or invite them.
Yeah, that's right. So
Mm.
a lot of this came about because a friend of mine, Leona, who's the leader of this whole expedition, she's been twice, and I sort of said I really wanted to go, and she's like, well, what if we brought a group of friends down? And I was like, yeah, if I'm going to spend sort of that amount of time, I want to do it with. I'm a pretty extroverted person, and it's great to meet new people, but if we can bring a bunch of people we already know, then that's going to make it even more special.
Mm.
So we about half the people coming are kind of people who work in climate to some degree, and the
Mm.
other half are people who are not necessarily in climate, but certainly looking for the Antarctic experience. So it's going to be a really interesting mix. There's about 14 of us, and we've got 2 days in Buenos Aires, and then we've got the boat trip down. So yeah, it's going to
Mm.
be. Look, I think we'll make some good contacts with others on the boat as well. But
Mm.
I'm really thinking that there's going to be that this group's gonna have a great experience. So
Yeah, yeah. I've yet to sort of read through all of the instructions on the group chat, but I'll be flying in from Santiago to Buenos Aires with some of them. So I'll be able to get to meet them there. I am the
yeah,
youngest, by the way. I'm
yeah,
21. So it's going to be a very sort of eye-opening experience, sort of meeting all these, like, what I feel are well-renowned, sort of well-respected people. So
mm,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's going to be great.
There's also everybody else on the ship, so I think there's 120 people, including staff, on
Yeah,
the ship, and I like to almost like discuss what sort of people we meet
yeah.
while we're there. Like maybe you'll see other people who are climate oriented there as well. So,
Yeah, exactly. And what's your like what impact do you think this is going to have on you when you come back? Like
mm.
how do you expect it to change you?
I think I'll become probably more motivated. I might realize what sort of freedom I have. I've been in Melbourne for the majority of my life, and I'm beginning to grow up and saying, "Hey, I might want to move to Perth. I want to get this job and such and such and such." And I feel like such a stark contrast to Melbourne, like Antarctica, might show me what I'm sort of capable of. I know people who go to Antarctica for a living,
Yeah,
from I think Bustleton or somewhere in WA. There's this guy that my grandpa introduced me to that goes to Antarctica for a living to
yeah.
measure nutrients in the water or take the asbestos from the water that was left there in 1947 from some sort of whaling company. Not too sure.
Wow.
Anyways, I think this will just be an eye-opening experience for what I might do in the future. I'll definitely become very sentimental while I'm there with no internet. I'll definitely sort of think
Yeah.
deeper about future and all these things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I'm 51 and you're 21, so we've got 30
Mm.
years of difference.
Nice.
And that's amazing to have this kind of I climbed Kilimanjaro when I was 30, but to have this I'm really interested to see the yeah, what impact it has on you because I'm looking for another 10 years of motivation. I've done 9 years of working in climate, and
Mm.
we need another I need at least another 9 years. But
Mm.
I I'm hoping that I get again just a renewed passion to look after environment, but also probably see some of the negative impacts of climate change, and therefore be even more motivated to push for change.
Mm.
And you don't currently work in climate, but maybe maybe when you come back you'll be have some additional motivation.
Yeah, I've always been very interested, and I'm thinking about going to things like biology or ecology because it has interested me since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Um, and I was thinking, yeah, like maybe I will, maybe I will.
Yeah, and like, I think one interesting thing I often get people contact me and say, hey, for whatever reason, I now would like to go and do some positive work for the environment or sustainability or climate. What should I do? I actually think that every job needs to become an environmental job over the next 20 years.
Mm.
And not just there's a difference between being somebody fully and utterly 100% focused on nature or biodiversity or climate, but we need everybody to be advocates. And in fact, it's probably that it's one of the best things that can happen is for climate positive actions to be normalized
Mm.
because there's a lot of rich people who don't particularly care. There's a
Mm.
lot of uh, people who can't afford to don't have any options. They're just still trying to live. And there's a small group in the middle who have both the means and opportunity and possible motivation to make a difference. And I think regardless of the role you play and how you play it, I think everybody can be positive, whether that's an accountant for a big bank or whether it's a mechanic for a local firm or,
Mm.
I think there is. I'm really interested in trying to see everybody find a way to participate in climate being climate positive. Um, so yeah, like I again, the reason I'm saying that is don't feel pressured necessarily to go, hey, this is I need to go and quit my job and go and join Greenpeace. But
Mm.
there's hundreds of different ways you can do incredible work to support Antarctica.
Sure, yeah. I honestly have so many questions
Yeah.
about what you do and your opinions about sort of sustainability and whether that's actually enough. But I feel like I'd almost have to prepare a list or so because I'm really
Well,
not.
we've got 2 weeks to spend to each other, Tom. We're gonna have
Yeah,
plenty
yeah,
of
yeah.
time to chat. So
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm very much looking forward to it. And another aspect uh, that I'm sort of that I'm looking forward to is that you're a very motivated person. You say that you like being a coach for people. Is that right?
yeah, some of my work is I really enjoyed coaching and mentoring and
Mm.
teaching. It's always been a little bit a part of my work, no matter what I do.
Okay.
Some of my mentoring now is with climate tech companies.
Mm.
I do some work with schools and universities programs, but also corporates, like helping corporates, people in corporate roles who are passionate about sustainability, or not even passionate about it. They might be told that now they have to do sustainability work and they want to understand it. So
Mm.
helping people increase their positive behaviors
Mm.
is a part of the work I really enjoy.
Okay. Okay. That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we'll have plenty of time and the thing that I would love to learn from you is, you know, I grew up with climate change being this like minor little thing that might happen in the future sometime,
Mm.
and to now become a very real, like it's already happened.
Mm.
Like we're already seeing the effects. It could get really bad. It's very clear, and we're already in the middle of the transition.
Mm.
But you've grown up with, I'm assuming, with this being normal, and there's a negative of that, which is like it might be you might be less hopeful about the future, but there's also a positive, which is you haven't had to learn it. You might be an environmental native. Like, is that how you describe it?
That it's something that I've always been aware of, and I might sort of be sustainable in my thinking already.
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely have been thinking about it since I was a little kid, and it's given me an appreciation for nature and a love for nature because I know that I can't take it for granted.
yeah,
I've always loved fishing. I've always loved that sort of thing growing up, and it's definitely made me think about what I can do. I definitely feel responsible in some way to sort of go out and help in those sorts of fields.
yeah,
That's for sure. I'll think on it some more as well because it's talking there. You're talking about like personal identity in relation to like a world sort of issue
yeah,
and the effect that it's having on my psychology as I'm growing up, and I'm still growing up. So
yeah,
that's what this trip is for, right?
yeah.
That's what this trip is all about. So it's a good question, and I'll answer it at the end. I'll answer it at the end, I feel.
Well, that's right. Again, one of the things I'm really interested in is how this changes our thinking. Because
Mm.
I remember being having I do live a busy life. I've got three kids. I do lots of projects. I do lots of exercise and things, activities. I'm really busy. And even some of the people I'm going on the trip with, I have lots of little conversations with, but we've kind of got this 2 week period to be immersed in it, and there's almost nothing else to do. And I'm hoping that my brain will quieten down a bit and get to sort of some insights and epiphanies, hopefully. So yeah, I'm really interested to see. I think the boat trip back from Antarctica is going to be amazing because we'll be impacted by what we've experienced.
Mm.
And yeah, and I'm interested to see. We've got some older people in our group. We've got some in the middle, and we've got Tom representing the youth. So I think those conversations, I think the conversations around the coffees actually are going to be one of the best parts of this trip, as well
Mm.
as seeing penguins and icebergs and everything else. But yeah,
Mm. Yeah, yeah. And there'll even be a couple of meetings as well. I mean, presentations. I mean,
yeah,
on the boat. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. I'll do a few. Leona's an amazing leadership coach, and yeah, we're different in a few ways in some of our work, but it's we've
Mm.
been friends for a long time, so it's going to
Mm.
be it's a really interesting
Yeah,
group. So
yeah. Leona presents herself very well in the group chat as a happy-go-lucky sort of organized person who's also very motivational. It's
yeah, she is very motivational. Like she is a total energy source. She's totally action oriented, and I think that's what she adds as a coach is like just yeah, bust through procrastination to just get going. So if you get any time with her for that coaching session, I highly encourage you to be really open and vulnerable about it, and just listen and learn and take it in. And you've got to make your own calls about life, but it's I think there's some really incredible people coming on the group on the adventure with us, so that should be amazing. Yeah, and Tom, any is there in terms of being in Antarctica, is there one experience you're looking forward to more than others? Jumping in the water, sitting next
jumping.
to
Yeah, jumping in the water is one of them.
okay,
Just that sort of that real exposure to Antarctica, and then probably landing and being able to walk and just go at your own pace through Antarctica. I feel like that's where the thoughts will sort of come into play
yeah,
while you're walking in some place. Obviously, you've never been before. Something
yeah.
that's entirely alien and entirely new. I feel is what I'll be thinking. So.
Yeah, that's. I think that's. You touched on it right at the start, which is it's a place like no other on Earth. It's, I love Paris and I love LA and I love New York, but um, millions of people go there. So there's something about the rareness of it, which I think is valuable, but also the remoteness. And for me as well, on the climate side, Antarctica is really important, even though it's a long way away and it's hard to understand. It's complex, and
Mm.
this is one of the challenges with climate is that I feel like my takeaway coffee cup can't possibly be negative for the world. And it's hard to draw a line between my actions and all this. There's one person in 8 billion and one coffee cup and one car,
Mm.
but yeah, that's part of the connection I'm trying to make. So,
Okay.
um, yeah, I think there's just going to be. I want to jump in the water. I want to sit next to penguins. I want to see whales, and I just want to be next to an iceberg, which is like a skyscraper, right? Like I just want to have that sense of awe and also recognize that I'm just this tiny thing. Um, Again, I want to feel valuable and have high potential, but I don't want to think that. One of the interesting things I got from my master's study looking at indigenous cultures is in most indigenous cultures in the world consider themselves a part of nature, where developed cultures like the Western culture that I exist in, and a lot of it in America and UK, etc., we think about ourselves being above nature or better than nature.
Mm.
And I think that's caused part of the problem is that we think we can that it's infinite resource and it's there for our abuse or our use. I think we've got to, that's one of the things I think we need to rectify.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, Tom, hey, great to chat. So exciting.
Yes.
I'll hit stop on the record in a second, but mate, so
Okay.
excited to looking forward to seeing you on possibly on the plane, possibly actually I think in Buenos Aires we'll see each other for the first time, and we'll record a bunch of videos along the way, and hopefully yeah share some amazing experiences.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the chat. You've given me a lot to think about, so I'm going to begin writing in my journal and sort of preparing for Antarctica.
I'm going to be journaling too. Let's make sure we share those out. Thanks, mate.